Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of the Jammin' Dude Show. I'm your host, Ben Jammin' Straley, otherwise known as Jammin' Dude, the J Dude, or simply LJ Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing. Slick Fat Marley was making me fat, so for the rest of the winter I have switched over to Johnny Apple Marley. It's apple cider and rum. Got a special treat for you this week. I discovered one of the most mind-blowing bands that I have heard in such a long time, and I just can't wait. I'm only afraid of overhyping them and having you all go. Anyway, the band is called Odd Logic. The album is called If We Were Live. I discovered these guys. I told you a little bit about them a couple of weeks ago. I went and saw the Fates Warning show, 3 weeks ago now? And one of the bands that was opening for them was called Graphic Light Theory, a local progressive rock band that me and my buddy Chris were really floored with. If you get a chance to check out Graphic Light Theory, please do so. I will also be including a link to their EP, which is online, and you can kind of check it out for free. I was so blown away by Graphic Light Theory, I wanted to meet some of the guys. So I went up and talked to the lead singer, Sean Thompson, and he was telling me that Graphic Light Theory, he was really excited about Graphic Light Theory, but they're going to be taking some time off to write some newer material. And in the meantime, he's going to be focusing on his band called Odd Logic, with one or two of the other guys from Graphic Light Theory. And he gave me this CD, thank you Sean. It's a really cool concept album. I really like the brilliant concept. Basically what this is that this is an imaginary concert that takes place at the Illusory Palace. And so you get to have the experience of arriving at the show and hearing all the sounds and noises of arriving at the show, hearing the announcer announce the show, being with the crowd. The crowd sounds continue throughout the album, but they're not overwhelming. It's like a very well-mixed live album, even though it's a studio creation. The album starts proper with the great opener called The One. Good change-up hard rocker that sets up the standard theme of the album. And Sean Thompson has got such an incredible voice. And let me tell you something right now. This is sort of like Enchant with a heavier edge. If you guys like Enchant, it's almost like if Enchant and Shadow Gallery had a baby, but not quite as cheesy as Shadow Gallery, and that's absolutely to their benefit. I think Odd Logic pulls this all off while being very progressive and being somewhat old school to the early 90s style of progressive rock, and yet not coming across cheesy at all. They really execute so well. So right out of the gate they pull you in with a rocker, The One. The one right after that is called Perfect Day. This could very well be in my top 5 songs of the last 10 years. It's fighting with the Cockroach King is one of my favorite progressive metal songs from as far back as I can remember. Maybe going all the way back to Octavarium by Dream Theater. I am just so floored by some of the material in here. Perfect Day is a great 6-minute breakdown, has so many hooks and so many great time changes, and you'll just find yourself rocking out the whole time. Then things slow down a little bit with Spirit Girl. Beautiful harmonies, great vocal harmonies, very much in the vein. That's maybe where I get a little bit of my Shadow Gallery, is when you get these fantastic vocal harmonies going on. And they have a choir going on in the background and maybe a little bit of a string section, and it really lends to the atmosphere of the album so well, because you feel like you're not at some club show. You feel like you're at a real major event. And the album captures that perfectly. Moving on, we get to our first of two epics, The Dark Poet, which I had some trouble grabbing me at first, but that one's a little bit more of a grower. And after my 5-spin rule, I was completely hooked. The repeating themes, the lyrics are so passionate and flow so well, and Sean sings with such beautiful emotion. And I should mention the keyboardist too, who I've been trading a few emails with, Kevin Hunter. Beautiful atmospheric wall of keyboard sound that really makes you feel like you're in an arena listening to some of the most amazing progressive rock you've ever heard. Like I said, I'm only worried about hyping this too much. The epic Dark Poet is amazing. Then we get into a real hard rocker, Naked Mannequin. Great riffs, very odd kilter, odd meter, because they will have some very small sections where they sound maybe a little bit more commercial like Frost. But then they'll throw these odd meter time changes at you, and you'll just get to feeling more like you're listening to a real progressive rock band. Not that Frost isn't great progressive rock, but it's just maybe a little bit more easier to swallow. Not that they aren't great. But that's where I think Odd Logic strikes its best balance, is because the melodies are simple, but then they throw change-ups at you, which gives it that complex nature that we really love about progressive rock. Following up Naked Mannequin is Revenge of the Spirit. Another great song. Almost gets lost in the shuffle here because you just have so many great songs coming at you. And Revenge of the Spirit just happens to be that recurring theme song that happens right before the grand finale. And that grand finale happens in a big way with the Great March, which I have posted. I've posted 2 songs from this album with permission from the band on my page here. So right here on this page, you can listen to Perfect Day and the epic The Great March, which ends in the most grandiose, beautiful finale. It's one of the best epic endings I have heard. Really, actually, I have to give props because the newest Dream Theater epic really has a gorgeous ending as well. Maybe one of the best that they've ever done. But The Great March really has an ending that is on par with that. So you get this whole feel, the flow of the entire show with you entering the concert and hearing the band announced and then starting off with a couple of rockers and then having them drop down and then go into your first mid-show epic before picking you back up with a couple of rockers and then ending with just the epic to end all epics. As the show ends, they do come back out for a short 3-minute encore that really just keeps you wanting more. It even has a sing-along part that you would expect from a lot of concerts too. Odd Logic really hits it out of the park here. The concept is incredible. The execution of that concept is done perfectly. And there's even a bit of a surprise ending as you leave the concert at the end of the album. I will leave that for you guys to discover. But definitely check this out. You can pick it up at CDBaby, and I will provide a link as to where you can pick up this fantastic album. I really hope these guys get a lot more recognition. The other thing that I want you guys to watch for is I've actually been going back and checking out some of their early material. Their very first album is available on CDBaby for only $1. And it may not be quite to this level, but it is excellent progressive rock. And when was the last time you could pick up an entire fantastic progressive rock album for just $1? And it's worth every penny and then some. So check out their first album. They also have a really interesting album that is meant to be the soundtrack to the Kate Beckinsale movie, that vampire werewolf movie called Underworld. I'm not really a fan of these types of movies at all. I think they're kind of cheesy and silly. But when I found out that Odd Logic had kind of pulled a Dark Side of the Moon Wizard of Oz thing, and they had written this album around and meant to be synced up with this Underworld movie, I thought it was a really fascinating idea. I checked out one clip online, and I loved what I heard so much, and I'll be posting a link to that too, that I'm actually going to be going out and trying to see if I can find Underworld in a used DVD bin somewhere. And after I do that, I'm going to buy the album and let you guys know what I think about the whole movie album sync up. That album is called Over the Underworld. So if you already own that movie, you may want to pick up that album at CDBaby and follow the instructions to sync it up and have a great time. And post your comments. Let me know what you think. I want to know what you think of If We Were Live. I want to know what you think of the other 2 videos that I have posted at my website. And if any of you guys pick up Odd Logic's first album for $1, come back, tell me what you think. I'm sure the band would love to hear it. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Keep tuning in because I'm going to be checking out some more fantastic progressive rock bands from the Seattle area, as well as giving you my review of the brand new Rush live album that I just picked up. I just gave the Clockwork Angels live album its first spin last night. Picked it up a little late. Really loved the performance, and maybe we can all geek out on some Rush in a couple of weeks. But keep tuning in, and you'll be getting more reviews, more entertainment, more rants, and, you know, whatever else I feel like. Love your feedback, love your comments. I try to answer all my emails, so write me, post, thumbs up, and by all means, check out Odd Logic and Graphic Light Theory and their EP as well. You'll hear some fantastic progressive rock if you do. You guys keep tuning in, and we'll see you next time on The Jammin' Dude Show.